So I wanted to do a review of the new application I just finished. So I was on my mountain looking at the sky, and I thought I might as well do a review. So how to use it and why this is something you might like. So right now I'm alone in the night sky, and it's around 7 p.m. As you can see at the top, La Possession, Réunion. It's not exactly where I am right now, but it's so close it doesn't really matter. So here you can see the ascendant is Varuna, so I'm going to put it in the normal mode so you're not lost. Right now it's the circle Aditya. Might as well put it in English as well so you're not as lost. And here I'm going to use tropical normal zodiac. So here the ascendant right now is Aquarius, as you can see here. So you can see the sea is actually cusp, and so I'm not going to explain what it is, but it's basically the same thing as the ascendant because there's multiple things displayed. You have the houses, whole house, you can see the number here, and here it's the actual cusp. So this is not exactly the same thing, but most people doesn't know the difference, so I'm not going to explain the difference. And there you can see Venus is here. Actually it's in the sky, I can see it right now because it's in the 7th house, so it's just above the horizon, and the horizon is actually the 7th house, the cusp that you can see here, and the link between the 7th cusp and the first cusp, is actually the horizon, the earth plane. And see here we can see Venus in the sky. So if you can look at the eastern horizon, you would see Venus just like I do right now. And in the sky it's actually a bit higher, I think, than, like, it feels maybe 2 houses. It feels maybe 2 houses different from the horizon. Doesn't feel like 30 degrees, but maybe I'm not used to use this app yet. So this is important because, well, if you don't use an app to actually check the sky from time to time, you may be actually surprised. And I'm used to using Kala software, and I don't like using normal astrology software, and that's why I created this app. I still use Western normal astrology, but to convert it's annoying, and it's actually hard to practice both at the same time. So, but that's just my point of view. So here, what you can do, you can actually change the time. So let's say you want to know which ascendant it's going to be in a few minutes, for example. I'm actually recording this session. So let's see if I add 1 hour or 2 hours, you can see the ascendant is changing. And I can actually push the arrow button, not the arrow, but the circle the arrow going backward here, and it's going to reset the time. So you can play with it and reset, play with it and reset. So that's simple, hopefully. So you go back in, and so that's it. So for transits, it's very important. I like to look at the current sky and try to deduce why some events are happening. Right now the moon is in Taurus, Mars in Gemini, Sun in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, Jupiter in Leo, and Venus in Leo. I didn't actually add this option to show the name of the planet. I will do that in the next version. I thought I did, but I didn't actually do that. So on the software you can actually, like, if you don't know the planet names, you can actually switch the degree and put the name of the planet instead. and for me, I don't really care about that because I know them by heart, but when you're a beginner, it can be annoying to not know about that. Here you can hide or show the outer planet, and then on the section here, as you can see, you can change which zodiac you want. You have sidereal options. If you have sidereal, you can choose ayanamsha, which is basically how much precision you want. Most common is Lyri, and I think I need also to add something here to put the degree you want if you don't have the option you want out of them, because there's many more. But let's go back to Aditya because I like it, and this app is meant for Aditya a bit, but you can still choose whatever you want. But let's go back here. For example, here Aditya, if you click a sign, you will have the description, and you also have the description in French. If you speak French, you have the Aditya described in French also. But not all of it is translated. So, for example, here you have the moon in Mitra. If you don't know what Mitra is, you click on it, it gives you what it is, and you can read it if you want. And you have a healthy expression and wounded expression depending on the Avastha. And the Avastha, you can actually check it out here. So you go here, you look at the moon, you see here it's Mitra at the top end, at the bottom you can see 63. So overall it's positive, so you can see that this is healthy expression. For Jupiter, for example, we have minus 72, so it's afflicted expression. But there is also a bit of positive. We have 36 positive, but it's mostly negative. So this is how you determine that. Then here you have Tajika aspect, which is the same as Western aspect. It's just we call it Tajika, but it's the same thing. Then what you can do, you can also search someone. Let's say you want to know a chart of someone known, for example. Michael Jackson. Let's see Michael Jackson charts. So Michael Jackson. Not sure it's would like that, but anyway, let's see if it finds it. And it's looking at Wikipedia to download, and then you don't have the birth time though, but it's still better than nothing, and you can actually search the birth time and add it yourself if you want. So here you have the chart of Michael Jackson, and you can put it back in tropical just so you see that this is indeed Michael Jackson's chart. You have the sun in Virgo, moon in Pisces, and all the other things. But let's go back to the Aditya. I want to show you something. You also have the retinue being, so this is an added description which is even more complex. But for those who followed Ernst's course, you can, for example, see the description of the aura. So you have the Twashka here, you can click on it, and you have the description of the Aditya, but you also have the aura. So here it's describing the aura. Hopefully, correct, yes. Let's see. And for those who don't know about Twashka, you can see at just in parentheses, you can see Libra, which is the equivalent of Twashka. So you can also see that way if you don't know too much about Twashka, but you can also read about it. And then you can see here the planets connect to Brahma, Peta. So you can click on it and see the same thing, expression and expression. So I'm not going to go too much about that, but this is the same thing as in the software, the full version. but on the smartphone it's actually a bit better to use it that way. So here you have the chart database, so you can actually load anything you want. You can create a new chart if you click that button, and then you can also edit the chart if you want. So for example, Michael Jackson, if you know the birth time, don't remember its birth time, but I think it's maybe 7 a.m. I'm not sure. And then you save, so it's saving the chart, and then gender not set, we don't really care about that right now. So is it his birth time? No, I think the moon, I don't remember, let's not care about that. So you can also change the location here. This is more important when you are in transit mode. You can change, for example, if you want to see from another country, the transit, you click here and you search another country. That's going to do it here. And I think that's all there is there. Then on the settings, you can change the theme. There is 4 themes, 2 dark theme. So this is a dark theme here. Actually prefer now the white theme for some reason. And you have 2 colors for the theme. And you change advanced chart setting entry. This is for in case at times the DST settings are not correct. You can actually change it manually if the automation doesn't work. And at times it doesn't. It's not perfect yet. And nothing is perfect on that area, unfortunately. So then, this is another important thing you can do. There is actually the ability to see the eclipse. For example, here this is for 2006. You can see each eclipse. You have one at the top in February 17, which happened recently, which was very important. And this was a solar eclipse. Then we have a moon eclipse. Lunar eclipse, on March 3rd, which happened, and the next one in line is a solar eclipse, which will happen August 12. So if we click on it, we can see the eclipse at the top, the name, the magnitude, if you like those concept about astronomy, the Saros cycle number and whatever. And then you have the list of Saros eclipse from this same line of eclipse. And the first one in line is called the Founding Eclipse, and it's very important. It's like the birth chart of the eclipse itself. So it's very important. If you have watched one of my videos where I describe eclipses, those are in cycle, and if you can actually click on it here and it will show up, and you can load it as a chart. It will ask you for a location, and I'm going to just select this, and you can see this eclipse. This is a founding eclipse of what will happen in August next in 2 months, I think, 2 months. And you can see here it's in Dhata, so it's the Aditya of Aries, the equivalent of Aries. And so you can click on here and you can see what this could be about. If you have planets there, this description, for example, if you have planet afflicted there, you can see what could come up during this eclipse, what kind of theme you would have to resolve. But overall here, since it's in Dhata, it will be about either protecting something, carrying something, or becoming something, or developing something, or being yourself. So Dhata being the first Aditya, it can be about everything, because everything can be about yourself. Let's say you have a health issue, you cannot move or weight anything more. You have to go in bed, so you are sick. So the first Aditya is one of the most important. So here it can be, for example, you have an accident. If you have an affliction there, it can be you have an accident, or you cannot do what you used to do, or something like that. But it can be also about psychology, because both are both are connected. So here you can see also there is Parjanya, which is the equivalent of Pisces. So if you can click on here, you can see the description of Pisces, and there is Jupiter there in this founding eclipse. So there is some help from wisdom, the planet of wisdom, which is Jupiter. So we are going to have some nice stuff from Jupiter here. And there is also Venus, which is making a connection to this eclipse, but more Jupiter actually. You can see in the Tajika aspect here, for an eclipse it's important. You can see that if you look at the Jupiter row, it's not directly actually connected to the moon. What the fuck? I thought it was. Let's see the degree, if I don't say something stupid. Jupiter is at 16 degrees, so it's almost there actually. It's not exactly, it's 9 degrees. I thought it was actually, it's probably very close, but there is no connection to Jupiter on the moon. There is a Saturn square though, so it's going to be difficult from this side. We have Saturn in Varuna, which is not well placed in Varuna, and so we can see here on the male side of Varuna, the female side is Shukra, the male side is Varuna itself. So you can click here and you can see the description of Varuna, the aura itself, which is not the same thing as the Aditya, the sign itself. So since we have a Saturn aspect, a bad one on the moon, this is going to be difficult to change emotionally. There is going to be an emotional change that we are not going to adapt easily, that we may not want to do. And it's at the same time afflicting Varuna itself, which is the moon sign. And I think this is going to be difficult emotionally. Something about growing up that may be hard to do. So let's go back to the Tajika aspect. What aspects we have on the moon? We have the sun, which is normal, it's an eclipse. We have Neptune, which is sextile, and Pluto square. Fucking shit. We have a Pluto square on the moon. Yeah, Pluto is very close to the moon in degrees, and it's 4 signs away, so that's a square at 4 degrees away from the moon. So we have a difficult thing going on here. But so that's let's go back to the eclipse. So this is the founding eclipse, like I said, but you can also look at, of course, the eclipse itself, and it will also reveal some stuff. So here is the eclipse. It will happen in Virgo. The equivalent of Virgo, which is Vivasvan, and most people call it Leo in traditional astrology. So not traditional, but normal Western astrology. So I'm not going to talk about this one because it's going to be too long otherwise, but you can do the same thing actually. You can actually look at the moon. What is the Saturn is actually trining the moon here, and that's it on the moon. And I'm looking at the moon especially here because it's an eclipse, so the moon and the sun are most important. But let's go. The moon is conjunct, the sun itself is conjunct Jupiter, and it's trined by Saturn also. From this side it's not that bad because there is a Saturn aspect, but it's a trine, and trine is actually better. But it's on Vivasvan, which is an earth sign, so probably there's going to be a lot of change regarding physical matters, working, being someone who can be there for others on the material plane, So it's the opposite sign of Pisces, and Pisces is about finding your spirituality or being at rest, holidays, etc., or in meditation, or going with the flow, with the waves, surfing, and all those things. And Vivasvan is about concrete stuff, and we have an exalted Mercury here actually, which is very good. If you look at Jupiter here, it's actually exalted during that eclipse, so this is going to help a lot. So concrete things and being rational and working hard and efficiently, especially because Mercury is about efficiency. So there will be a lot of efficiency. I think regarding AI technology, this is going to improve or manifest a lot of things with AI technology, because Mercury is about efficiency, and there is nothing less efficient than AI technology. But not just that, it's happening on multiple levels. You don't need to work with AI to benefit from this, of course. Jupiter will be a bit annoyed here in this sign. Doesn't like too much this sign, and Mercury is not helping him. But overall, it's not bad for Jupiter that much either. It's not difficult affliction. And with eclipses, we have to be open to some fated events that you cannot escape. So it's not really about bad or good events at times. It's just things you need to go through in order to improve or in order to live it. And sometimes it's just about leaving the event, and you cannot do nothing. It's not something you can change really. But it's also, they say, the moment you can actually change. So do whatever you feel like, and so that's it for this video. Hopefully it was a recording and you liked it. And I didn't show the ascendant on map, but you can also actually look at an eclipse here, load it, and show it on the map. So for example here, that's where I am, and I can see for this eclipse that the ascendant will be in this direction. So whatever that means for me, for you or me, but this can be important for those who do a lot of prediction. But I'm not going to talk about it because I don't have the time anymore, and this is going to be a long thing to talk about here, to explain that. But you can touch it, you can see what this could mean for you. You may actually understand. It's not complicated, but some people don't understand for some reason. So see you later, and thank you for watching this video. And I almost forgot, but this, if you want to download this software, it's available on my website. You just click on the link on my TikTok, you have a link to my website, and you go on the software menu, and you will see that you can actually download it. And it's not free, it's at €3 per month. But if you don't want to pay, you also have the software version, but it's explained on it, and I already did many videos on that. But I think for most people the Android version, because it's on phone but only on Android. If you have iPhone, you won't be able to use it. I could actually port it to iPhone, but iPhone being so annoying with restriction and rule that I cannot publish it yet. It's going to take a bit more time to do it. So for now it's only Android, but it's quite good already. And hopefully I will be able to put it on iPhone also, on Apple devices. So thank you for watching, and see you later. Let's stop this video.